I welcome you to our program entitled Integrated Theology. This is the fourth class entitled Theosci Philosophy, and I am your host, Bishop Dr. Derek A. Reeves. Today, we're going to get into the very first supplemental lecture, and the supplemental lecture is entitled Integrated Tertiaric Knowledge or Tertiaric Knowledge. Let's dive right in. When we speak of something that's integrated, we're talking about the composition of more than one part. When we speak of the premise knowledge or the first knowledge, these are the things that incapacitate every other aspect of building knowledge. And what it does, it incorporates every aspect and every field of knowledge. The reason why I said it incapacitates, because if someone tries to move this understanding or this knowledge outside of the three foundational knowledges, they're going to wind up still incorporating. And so these foundational knowledges, I believe that they proceeded forth out of God because they serve the mindset of God. They serve the purpose of God. They serve the will of God. And to try to splice something and to individuate it from the knowledge of God is futile. And so when we speak of the tertiary knowledge of God, we're talking about something that comprises, number one, scientia. And I'm not going to get into the weeds and talk about modern day science, how they say that science has to have observability and testability, and it has to be able to be proved false or true, because there's still so many things that through our knowledge, in which man has made many great strides, and yet our technology is not foolproof. In many things, we still conclude and include theoretical premises because we don't know why it occurs. We don't know how it occurs. Most science only deals with what does occur. And so they can explain the what, but not the why and the how. And so, even according to their definition of modern science, science does not always fit the bill. And I'm not saying that there's something wrong with something that can be testable, something that can be revealed, and something that can be proven false or observed. All I'm saying is that there are things that cannot be observed. There are things that cannot be tested because our lack of knowledge and skill keeps us from even dealing with the concept of something. Particularly when we talk about space. What is space? We say space is a void of nothing, but yet scientists continue to find out that space is literal substantial reality. Space is infused with time, and time and space can be bent, it can be stretched, it can be unrolled, and it can be rolled up. And so, scientia. Originally, the term scientia simply meant knowledge. And so, the study of scientia was the study of knowledge. When we look at this, we can really begin to investigate on several realms or several themes or several fields that can be added to this study. Number one, ology. Ology is, again, the study or the process of studying. Sociology, the process of studying society. Psychology, the study of the soul. Theology, the study of God. And so one aspect of scientia will deal with what we call ology, the process of studying in and of itself. Now, whenever you deal with ology, you have to deal with a parenthetical. A parenthetical simply means that you have gotten the understanding or the definition of the first thing that you are looking into, observing, analyzing, or examining. And so when we talk about the act of studying, then what is the ology or the proology to ology? You have to define ology, the act of study. What do you mean by the act of study? Because different people have different study methods. There are different processes and different tools that are used. Some may use hermeneutics, which is the interpretation of text. Some have concluded that it's simply the interpretation of theological texts or scripture. But hermeneutics, hermenein, or hermeneutikos, it literally means to unravel a text, whether it is poetry, whether it is a written law, or whether it is scripture. And so, as it pertains to scripture, it is the interpretation of a religious text. But what else is involved in interpretation? When we speak of interpretation, we have to talk about, first of all, those tools that will allow you to interpret. Exposition. Exposition comes from, again, a Greek terminology, exegiasthehi, and out, giasthehi, to extract. And so when we speak of exegesis, it is literally extracting the meaning out of the text by, first of all, looking at the term, the definition of the term, and the morphology of the term as verbs, adverbs, or state of being, or quantifiers are added, or disruptors are added. How is the phrase constructed? Because that will tell you how the word shifts when specific things are added next to it. And then phraseology, and then syllabic meanings, dunamis, dunamais. Most of the time when you see the definition duna, it deals with something that is inherent, an ability that is within the mind or the individual. And so when we speak of scientia, it goes into many different aspects. The ology of understanding knowledge, the process of understanding knowledge, and then the process of receiving knowledge. The study of ology must also deal with, where does knowledge come from? Why does it come from a specific place? And what is that specific place? And then when we deal with scientia, we're talking about the exploration of learning. How does one learn? Then there are other two prongs to what we call ology or scientia, or the three foundational knowledges. Ology simply means the study or the totality of all knowledge, but the three prongs of knowledge, those three basic tiers of knowledge, begins with knowledge itself, everything that's surrounded around it, philosophy, what you do with this knowledge, how you turn it, how you can test it and quantify it in various different positions or various different perspectives. And then number three, you're dealing with the theology. So knowledge drives us into philosophy. Philosophy will drive us into the genuine purpose. Why does knowledge exist? What is the purpose of knowledge? How did it come forth? And ultimately, that will lead us to God Himself. This is all the time we have. I thank you for joining me. This has been the fourth class in integrated theology entitled Theosai Philosophy, and I am your host, Bishop Dr. Terry K. Reeves. Until next time, God bless you and keep you.